Last time we visited the late models in Nashville, it was a hometown humdinger of a show. The track champ Andy Kirby in the 10, battling Joe Buford's 107 all the way to the checkered flag. We'll expect more of the same today because this is one of the tracks where NASCAR stars are born. They get plenty of experience and plenty of contact as they work their way up the ladder of short track racing. Welcome to Nashville Speedway USA. We're here. The best of the late model stock car drivers will fight it out in the third annual COMDATA Overdrive 200. Cars are on the starting grid and they're ready to roll. Let's go down and meet the front row with Matt Yoakum.
Mike, it seems like every time TNN comes to the Nashville Speedway, two guys, Jerry Coble and Andy Kirby, are the most productive. Both are on the front row, separated by just 5/1000ths of a second. Jerry, you won the pole, but do you have enough to hold off Kirby and the rest of the field for win number 2?
I tell you what, this COMDATA rider driver recruiting Overdrive Chevrolet Monte Carlo is running good today. I think we're up to the task. I sure hope so. I got his fingers crossed.
Well, he's got his fingers crossed. Alongside is Andy Kirby. He's had a stellar season, 7 victories in the '97 track championship. But what he really remembers is last year's event where he was running second, had victory almost in hand, and then he was snake bit. A bad transmission ended your chances. Andy, do you feel like you've got some redemption today trying to get a COMDATA 200 victory?
Oh, yeah, we do. We had a good run last year, and unfortunately, a transmission caught us. So we're never satisfied unless you win like most drivers are. So we're here to prove something and put this car out front.
Well, this field is loaded with a host of contenders, including last year's winner, Joe Buford, starting well deep in the field. Mike?
Thanks, Matt. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Nashville. I'm Mike Joy. Now, last week we were at Talladega, and you know Buddy Baker's won at Talladega 4 times. He's won the Daytona 500. Put your foot to the floor and leave it there. But did you know he won here on the short track at Nashville? 1973 Winston Cup winner. Now, this place has changed a lot, but the racing is just as good.
I was just going to tell you, it was just as tough to win here as it was Daytona or Talladega. The main reason, you have to drive this racetrack very precise getting in the corners. Very low line getting in the corner. Let the car go up a little bit. If you ever get off line a little bit, the wall will stop you. It's a tough place to run.
It is the place where a lot of NASCAR stars cut their teeth. Darrell Waltrip, Sterling Marlin, Cuckoo Marlin ran here. Jimmy Means ran a bunch of races here. And some of NASCAR's stars that have come from this speedway weren't just from behind the wheel. Larry McReynolds joins us as well. And Larry, you've put in a lot of time behind the pit wall here.
Well, I really have. As we watch this race today, it is this type of drivers that Winston Cup, Busch, and Truck Series are going to be looking at. But Winston Cup is also looking for future mechanics and crew chiefs. About 20 years ago, on a given Friday night, you'd see Larry McReynolds running around these pits working on these same type of race cars.
Who was your driver?
Dave Mader and Mike Alexander.
No kidding. And Mike Alexander won some championships here as well, in part thanks to this fellow here. They're about to fire engines here at Nashville Speedway USA, and these late models are ready to entertain you. So make a quick run to the fridge, and we'll be right back. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Nashville Speedway USA as they're getting set to fire engines here and get the COMDATA Overdrive 200 underway. 200 laps around Nashville Speedway. Going to be a wild one. We had a last chance qualifying race here earlier, and boy, it took a while and ripped up a bunch of them. Jerry Coble starts on the pole. He is a 2-time winner at the Speedway this year. Andy Kirby has clinched this year's track championship, his 3rd. Darrell Sage had a run at Winston Cup racing a while back and has 10 career wins here. Chad Chaffin is a 93 and 95 Speedway champ. Row number 3, Jerry Underwood, 8th in the points here. And David Littleton, the 93 Rookie of the Year. Craig Wilson in row 4 won the 97 opener here at Nashville in March. John Curley, son of Benny Curley, the North Carolina runner who failed to make the field here. Wade Allen Buttry will share the 5th row with Todd Morris, who had 13 top 10s here this year. Bo Miller got a runner-up finish here in May. Mike Murray shares the 6th row. Row 7, Billy James had 7 top 5s this season. And Dean Howard. Row number 8, Cecil Chun racing for charity here. He's involved in the Mark Colley race for diabetes. And Michael Green, who had 13 top 10s this season. Mark Cash, Jeff Higdon share the 9th row. Back in row 10, Toby Robertson, excuse me, out of North Carolina, and Casey Atwood, a 3-time winner this year. Russell Winstead and Benny Hamlet in row number 11. Row 12, Ricky Sanford and Adam Petty, Richard's grandson. Row number 13 is Jason Oates along with Dwayne Hudson. In the 14th row, Jimbo Vance. Joe Buford, a 7-time winner this year. He won this race 1 year ago. Ricky Bolton won a late model stock car race here in March. He and Billy Morris in row 15. Mark Day, the part-time Busch Series driver on his home track. And Tony Formosa, 8 career wins here. Then it's Walt Neighbors and Scott Henderson in row 17. Joe Brantley and Doris Vaughn, who has 4 Nashville wins in his career. John Hayden won the last chance race after starting last. Glenn Stovall also transferred to the main event, as did Marty Ward, a graduate of the old NASCAR Sportsman Division, and Greg Williams. Now, the Buford story is an interesting one, buddy. Our defending champion of this race had some trouble here in qualifying.
Well, he did. He lost the plug wire off the engine and had to go out and run on 7 cylinders and ended up in 28th spot, but don't expect him to stay there. He and Andy Kirby both had 7 wins apiece this year on this racetrack, so I look for him to be a front runner before too long.
Nashville Speedway, almost 0.6 of a mile around. 900 feet down each straightaway. 18-degree banking in the corners. A little banking for drainage on those straightaways. Track was repaved just a couple of years ago. A far cry from the track that either of you folks raced at.
You know, the one thing you have to remember about this racetrack, you have a wall that's very close on both straightaways to the where you run down the straightaway. And when you get in trouble here, you can bottle up in a hurry, especially off turn 2. It's a real trouble spot on this racetrack.
You know, buddy, even though they say the turns are 18 degrees, the groove around this thing is like right in the bottom, and that's where they really run the best at.
Well, you're looking down the back straightaway. That's turn 2. As they come out right on the bottom. You see the cars coming around there right on the bottom of the racetrack, and then they go all the way out against the wall. That's where trouble happens.
29 Chevys in the field, 6 Fords and 5 Pontiacs. Early this year, they gave the Fords a bigger carburetor and a 50-pound weight brake, and a number of drivers that were running Chevys built Fords. And as soon as they started to be successful, oops, rule change.
Change the rules. They wasn't going to let it stay that way for long. And I think now the Fords actually have to weigh 50 pounds more than the General Motors cars. And there's not a lot of Fords in the field, but you know what? They're going to give you more power and less weight. That's the only way to go, isn't it, buddy?
Well, yeah, they put a weight restriction on the Ford, 50 more pounds, but they run the same carburetors on all makes now. So they've really got a pretty good playing field here as far as being even.
But Andy Kirby, Chad Chaffin switched to a Ford and has stayed with one. And Andy Kirby up there on the outside of the front row.
See these cars weaving back and forth. They've got 200 laps to run here today, and they only have 4 tires in the pits that they can use. So, you know, they got at least, you know, try to get as many laps as they can out of their first set of tires.
Right. Let's get an update on that from Matt.
Well, guys, when you talk about rules for today's race on pit road, over the wall, unlike Winston Cup and Busch Series teams, you're only allowed 1 tire changer, 1 jack man, 2 tire carriers, and a fuel and catch can man. Is to try to cut down on cost. Because a lot of teams out here today don't have the huge budgets like you might see in the Busch Series or the Truck Series. So it's just another way for the All-Pro Series to help keep the cost down. And as far as the tire rule today, you're only allowed to change 2 tires under the caution. So if you want to come in and change 4, you've got to wait for the next caution or be penalized.
Well, Larry, this is almost a spec tire. It's very hard, and they don't really need to change a lot of tires. They work well. They go long distance without really slowing down. So, you know, it's good racing, and anytime you can save money, it's a good idea.
It's a good tire, and unlike we run in Winston Cup, this is a bias tire. And you can really change the handling characteristics by, you know, increasing the stagger, which is the difference between the left sides and the right side. And the cool weather here today, it helps the tire. But, you know, buddy, talked about 1 air wrench. 20 years ago, as we talked when I was here, we changed tires with a 4-way lug wrench. We didn't even have an air wrench.
Armstrong wrench is what you had. Drivers in this field represented from Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Virginia, Indiana, North Carolina, and Texas. There is actually 2 drivers in the field from Kentucky who are not from Owensboro.
How'd that happen?
I don't know. Except for Farrell Harris from Pikeville, I thought every Kentucky driver was from Owensboro. So Darrell would have you believe. We'll get set for a green this time by 200 laps the distance. Caution flag laps will count. On the pole, Jerry Coble, 2-time winner. Andy Kirby, 3-time track champion. Kirby tried but failed to get into tomorrow's event that you'll see here on TNN, the Mannheim Auctions All-American 400. And we're getting set for green this time. Pace car is in, 60 degrees, a little nippy for convertible weather. Got a nice day to go racing. Green flag, and we're underway for the first of 200 laps. Little 4-car breakaway out front, and they have not broken pace lap formation. 2 by 2, they're going to round off turn number 4. 45 on the inside is Coble.
You can see Kirby there on the outside in the green car getting loose off turn 2. Right now, the outside of the racetrack has some oil dry down on it from a race just prior to this event, so they have to be very careful on the outside groove there.
21 is Darrell Sage, and the 1 is Chad Chaffin. 4 cars fight for the lead, and Kirby's going to get it.
It didn't take them long to blow the oil dry off that corner. You see Chad Chaffin there on the outside in the 1 car. Very, very good race car driver. Someday you'll read a lot about this guy. He can do it all. He can build his own car and certainly drive it, as you see him moving up in the 2nd spot.
Kirby, Chaffin, Coble, and Sage, the front 4. And Joe Buford deep in the field, trying to move his way up. Back there somewhere. There's that yellow 107. Buford, he's about 20th place. Second place battle. 3 cars won it.
That's Darrell Sage in the 21 there. You see him moving right by Chaffin down into turn 1. And Coble there's leading the race. But boy, they're mixing it up. And it's very early in this race. Right now, it's, a lot of the cars are kind of filling the racetrack out. But these guys are going at it.
There's Coble, the blue car, leading that pack. He's actually the 2nd place machine. Andy Kirby is out in front of them. There's Coble, Sage, the 1 of Chaffin. And right with him, at number 2, David Littleton, who started 6th. The orange car there, and black, the Halloween-colored car, is Littleton.
Kirby building a pretty good lead there in the early part of the race here.
I love to watch these guys weigh. Oh, we have trouble down the front straightaway. Somebody's lost a motor.
Jeff Higdon in 04. Slow roller. We did not go to caution. We're still green.
I think he got out of the groove really before he had a chance. If he did put any oil down, he was out of the groove.
Mike, that's a door handle to door handle. They're starting to rub this metal just a little bit through the corner there. You see how close they're fighting there. Darrell Sage on the outside, Chaffin on the inside. Both grooves seem to be very, very fast right at the moment.
I'll tell you, buddy, if they had door handles, they've worn them off already. That's how close they are. And Chaffin's going to get the spot. There's the 2 of Littleton. Right behind them. Sage has a look on the low side. It's not going to happen as the 11 of Michael Green is pushed behind pit wall.
That's almost as funny as a rear bumper on a car. You look to find me a rear bumper.
Nah.
They're all molded back ends and front ends on these cars. There's no such thing as a loose bumper anymore.
And here's Buford moving up against the 42 of Ricky Sanford.
Getting just a little bit loose as he went to get back in the gas there in the middle of the corner.
18th position for Buford. Remember, he started way back in the field because of that plug wire problem in 28th. He's gained 10 spots.
He told us, Buddy, just needed to get 1 a lap for the first few laps, didn't he?
Yeah, he said, I'm going to take my time. I only want to pass 1 a lap, but he's not getting that done right now. You talk about cars going down the back straightaway. Look at the hood on the 107 there, Buford. It's actually, the wind current is pulling down on that hood to the point that it's collapsing it.
What we got to remember, these are actually, I think, fiberglass hoods, and they're not steel, so they're not near as sturdy, but they're awfully light.
Buford works underneath the 26 of Russell Winstead, and Joe Buford, last year's winner of this race, moves up to 17th place. Here's the battle for the lead. Andy Kirby has his hands full with pole sitter Jerry Coble in the 45.
Mike, that spot that they were at right there, Coble was just in a blind spot right on that left rear there. You have to just check up and make sure that guy on the outside knows you're there. If he chops over, you have a spin.
Kirby looked like he was getting down in the corner a little better than Coble, but I believe Coble's getting off the corner a lot better.
There's Kirby, takes it in deep. Here comes Coble, just bobbled the car just a little bit and hangs back to second spot. Chad Chaffin, the #1 car, in third. There are your leaders.
Kirby carried down into the corner. Chaffin's moving up on the outside.
That was Walt Neighbors that went up against the wall down in number 2 turn, but he got it back underway.
Glenn Stovall was part of that as well. We stay green, and here's Chaffin coming around the outside.
It's like you can use the second groove to pass, and a lot of cars are staying in the second groove, but once they make their pass and get by themselves, they kind of move back to the bottom of the racetrack.
Down to the bottom goes 45, your pole sitter Coble, the blue and black car behind Chaffin. Can't take advantage there.
Mike, what they had there, you can see, they look up and they see a lap car just in front of them there, and they're trying to keep that track position. You see them there as they come up. You get single file and go to the high side of the racetrack.
It's Walt Neighbors that they're lapping here in the early stages. He got a little bit loose right there, too, just trying to stay out of those guys' way.
All right, we'll show you what happened with Walt Neighbors and Glenn Stovall. There is a look at Neighbors' car with some of the damage. Let's see what happened here. Well, looks like Neighbors already been up in the wall. And there's Stovall, who bounced off the wall exiting turn 2.
A lot of damage on the right front there.
And back to live action. There's Neighbors continuing to run with that left side stove in. There's your leader, Andy Kirby, 3-time track champion. Chad Chaffin runs in the second spot, and in third is pole sitter Jerry Coble. We'll be right back to Nashville on TNN. Cautions out for the first time today in the COMDATA Overdrive 200. 4 cars involved here on the front straightaway.
Mike, one of them is John Hayden. He is driving the 95 car. He turned around backwards just past the start-finishing line there. Has a lot of damage to the right front. He does have his window net down. That's always a good sign.
Oh, that's Jimbo Vance coming around. Here comes everybody.
There's the 95 I was talking about. He puts the brakes on, loses control, and slams into cars. It actually started that.
The red car is 96. That's Benny Hamlet. The 75 of Scott Henderson involved. Here come the leaders, threading the needle. You see on this next replay after the action, you'll see one blue car just come flying through here. Like maybe forgot where the brake pedal was.
It's Hayden right there spinning.
There goes the car you're talking.
That was Tony Formosa.
Sure was. And that's Hamlet. He's okay.
It's almost like Henderson and maybe Vance got involved in this from checking up from the wreck happening in front of them.
In any case, we're under the first caution of the day. That's John Hayden. We'll be right back to Nashville after this. We're under caution in Nashville for a 4-car incident. That red number 96, Benny Hamlet, is apparently the car that got this one kicked off from Smyrna. And just give a look and listen as to what you would have seen and heard if you were standing at the flag stand here at Nashville.
There you see Hayden there. That Scott Henderson comes sliding by. I think the flagman hadn't got a tough job. He's right above all that.
And John Hayden's car, after it spun, got hit hard by somebody coming through. So you get a good look at the tube frame construction on these cars and some of what's left. That's on the back stretch, I guess.
Mike, that's an inner panel from just behind the wheels that goes up over the tire, and it's probably out of that car right there, because you can see a lot of damage. And what happens there, it rips the inner panels out of the cars when you have problems and tear the fenders away.
So we'll load up the wreckage and get ready for the restart. In the meantime, we'll take this break from Nashville Speedway. We'll be right back. The Busch North cars are in Lime Rock, Connecticut today. The modifieds are at Thompson tomorrow. The all-pro cars are here. It's another big weekend in motorsports, and you won't miss a thing when you get all the up-to-the-minute highlights, interviews, and more tomorrow morning at a special time, 11:30 a.m. race day here on TNN Motorsports. We're still working the first caution of the day. As you just saw them haul off the number 95 of John Hayden, the Remax Realty entry, going off on the rollback truck. And let's check with Matt Yoakum with the driver.
Mike, the good news, everyone involved have walked out to their cars back over to the other side of pit wall, including John Hayden. John, what happened from your vantage point?
We was coming off 4 there, and I seen the 51 car spun right in the middle of the track, and I started slowing down a little bit, and the 75 right behind me didn't see it, got in the back of me and turned me, and I collected the 96 car.
It was a wild one for sure. Good news is everyone is okay.
Hayden had a 4th and 2 5ths this season at Nashville, finished up 20th in the point standings, which ended one race before this one.
And he had to work hard to get into this race. As we mentioned, he had to win that last chance race that was run earlier today to get in.
Going to get a restart next time by. Andy Kirby, race leader, kind of sorting out the lapped cars there to the inside. There's Kirby's number 10, Chad Chaffin in the 1. The pole sitter is Coble in the 45. Then the number 2 of David Littleton and the 21 of Darrell Sage. Then it's the 03 of Jerry Underwood and the 104 of Craig Wilson, followed by the 44 of John Curley, 87 Wade Allen Buttry, the 3 of Bo Miller, and then last year's winner, the 104 of Craig Wilson. Getting set for the restart next time by. The Mannheim Auctions All-American 400 here tomorrow. And you'll see it on TNN.
I have about 4 cars lined up on the inside line. It's a lap down, so that's not a lot of lap traffic to deal with here early in the race.
Nevertheless, you watch Kirby. He wants to get a jump so he can get that preferred line low down. You see him jump there on the outside to get ahead of the lap traffic getting down into turn 1. Now he'll go right to the bottom of the racetrack.
Chad Chapin, he clears the lap cars as well.
And now so does Coble. Mapco Express Coors Light Ford. Chad Chaffin, Andy Kirby, Chad Chaffin right behind him. The Logan's Roadhouse Ford. They were 2 of the drivers that took advantage of the rule change, started the season in Chevys, and then built Fords, and even after the rule change, stayed with them.
Mike, this is 2 race cars right here, very, very close to the same speed. Right now, one has to make a mistake, or the other, as Kirby just did. He moved out just a little bit. Here comes Chaffin on the inside.
Kirby couldn't keep his car down on the exit of the corner. Now Chaffin has that preferred line as they go off turn 2, and you'd hear the spotter right there say clear.
And Kirby going to stay right with him. Looks like he might run him hard into 3, but he's way up there, and here comes Coble.
I always find that funny to have somebody tell you when you're by somebody. I always knew when I passed somebody. You got to tell me when I get by. Well, you kind of judge when you're going by somebody how much speed you have. You pretty well know.
4th place battle, Littleton, number 2, trying to hold off Darrell Sage. Sage out of Murfreesboro came to Winston Cup racing here at Nashville. before he was, I think it was still in high school when he first gave it a try.
Mike, at 51 car there, he's a lap down, but he's running very well. I don't know how he got a lap down running as fast as he is right now.
Buddy, he was involved in the incident up here coming out of turn number 4, and the leaders came by to the flag.
That's Jimbo Vance driving the car, and he's doing a good job. He's out of the 4-cylinder division here at Nashville and doing a good job right now.
Jimbo out of Hermitage. A double R paving. Chevrolet 27, or number 51. Started 27th today. Front 4 have a little distance on the field.
Well, they do, and just by the 4th car in this group right here, that David Littleton, he's driving his heart out. I don't think the car is working all that wonderful, but he is driving that thing very, very well.
Littleton, 3 top 5 finishes this season. His best was 2nd. Looking for his first win of the year today. And here's Buford. Or excuse me, that's down on the inside. That's Craig Wilson, 104. Moving up on the 03 of Jerry Underwood. This battle for 6th place. Underwood in that white car. 1 top 5 this year.
Here you see John D. Curley got a good run off turn 2. And
I'm going to point out something. While they're racing and sliding around like this, if that was a radial tire, that would be a yellow flag. Every time you see the back end of the car jump sideways, well, Biasfly, watch him catch it back there. You can drive back under. A lot of race car drivers that were great drivers before the radial tire, they never adjusted back. The guy that brought up on radial tires like a Jeff Gordon, I think that's one of his advantages, is he learned on radial tires.
Bias tire is just a little more forgiving, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you can drive back when you get in trouble. With the radial, you're in trouble when you get sideways.
Hey, Littleton, he wants Halloween early. He's bringing that pumpkin to the front. 3rd place.
You know, talking about the bias tire, buddy, from a mechanic standpoint, the thing that I don't miss about the bias tire is, again, they'll grow with air pressure. The size will change. If the car is real loose, the rear ends want to come around, the right rear will continue to grow and the car will just get looser, and the same for the right front. If you start pushing, the right front will just keep growing and the car will push worse.
Exactly. The air pressure and the hot tire gets more and more as it's sliding, and it makes the tire bigger. With the radial, it just gets harder. It does not grow.
11th place, Buford moving up underneath. Billy James in the 18, last year's winner. The 107.5 FM Tone Oil Ford trying to go to the front.
He's definitely on a march to the front right now. He's about on schedule. He's getting about 1 a lap.
Well, Joe Buford told me earlier today, he said, what I have to do is have patience, because I am back there, and if I don't use patience, these guys are running well. You don't just go up there and go by them. You have to wait till they make a mistake, pass them then, and not really abuse your car.
Well, this will be interesting, because the fellas who watch racing here at Nashville every week have told us that Buford is not known for his patience.
Well, you can see right just a second ago, he was right down there digging that position out.
There's Buford trying to catch Wayne Allen Buttry, next car in line for 10. And running with Buford, the 3 of Bo Miller.
Larry, look how low that car of Buford's runs in the corner. He's got the left front right on the white line. A lot of the cars are beginning to drift up, but he can stay right in the bottom of the racetrack.
His car's turning good through the center, getting a good bite up off that corner, which makes him run down that straightaway exactly.
That was the key to his win here 1 year ago on TNN. Oop, one car slides up the hill. Going to lose a spot to the 87 of Buttry. That's Wilson, Craig Wilson, and side by side just ahead. Underwood up high. That allows the 44 of Curley to take advantage. Curley making only his 3rd start of the season here. And there is Buford, the yellow car. He's closed right in on this pack.
He's got a good race car. He just needs to use patience, especially when he comes up on a group like this. He just needs to take his time and find the preferred line and be careful and go ahead and get around these guys.
Leader, number 1, Chad Chaffin. Lapping past Tony Formosa, an 8th race winner here, career-wise. That battle is shaping up back at 6th spot.
Yeah, Kirby's in 2nd. You can see in the green car, and the 2 car, David Littleton, moved into 3rd, so he's got the thing going pretty well. He's fighting that race car, but he's going up through traffic.
Well, Buford has passed Craig Wilson in the 104 and Underwood in the 03. So he's moved up to 8th place. And he's knocking on the door of Wade Allen Buttry. whom he's followed up through the ranks. Buttrey is 7th. In that number 87, the perfected drywall Chevy.
Mike, we're getting to the point right now where the tires are getting a little slicker, and the better. Oh, you see Buford there cross up, though. It's not a walk in the park for him either. He's having to drive that car pretty hard to stay down there. I would notice the back of the car getting real loose in the middle.
Buford's dad was Fluky Buford, a former track champion and multi-race winner here in Nashville.
He and Darrell Waltrip thrilled the crowd here many a time as they fought it out.
Buford.
Yeah, he was a fierce competitor.
Now, Buford, Joe Buford, and Andy Kirby each won 7 races, but Kirby's the champion, and Buford is 6th in the points because he either won or wrecked or crashed or broke, had a lot of DNFs, along with all those wins. We're at Nashville Speedway, USA. Last year's winner, Joe Buford, trying to catch the leaders. Well, the defending champion of this race will likely not be going to victory lane. That is Joe Buford, whose car is parked in the front stretch wall after a hard hit on the outside of turn number 4. Let's have a look here.
Well, you see Buford on the outside there in the 107 car, the yellow one there. He gets a little help right there. That turns him. He fights back. Now watch, he's up in the loose stuff and right into the wall. That is a hard lick.
Really hit that wall hard there. That was John D. Curley that he was going around there.
Yeah, they were battling for 6th spot. Buddy, did it look like just maybe as Curley got back on the throttle, the car moved up on him?
Yeah, what happens there, it certainly wasn't intentional or anything, but you could see Buford going in the corner, and he was fighting a little bit of a loose condition anyhow. When he got touched, it was like somebody kicked him sideways.
Well, tell me, what happens to the 44 here?
Well, he's in the throttle, and you see Buford coming down just a little bit. Contact's made right there. Now watch, right there, he tries to fight back. Watch him hit this loose stuff. You can see the dust coming out from under the car. You can see straight in. That's a hard lick.
It definitely looked like maybe Buford come down as much as Curley went up. It was just one of those racing incidents.
And if you have a look at Buford's car, there's Joe. He's out. Took a hard shot.
Let me tell you, his right side of his ribs are giving him a fit right now, because anytime you hit flat like that, even though the seat is form fit, it really hits the rib cage hard.
And from the front view we saw before the wrecker pulled into position, the rear end on that car has moved over several inches and does not look like Joe Buford is coming back. We're about 60 laps in here of the 200 they'll run today, and we're under caution for the 2nd time for Joe Buford. We'll be right back. Your personal source for all things country, from race cars to country stars. Fire up the old computer and hook your modem to country.com. Now here's Darrell Sage in for his 3rd pit stop of this caution period. He has already lost a lap. That happened on the 2nd pit stop. And Matt is with the man who hoped to make it 2 in a row today.
Well, he can still crack a smile, but I know you're disappointed, Joe. First off, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm a little dizzy. That's hard. I believe that's the hardest I've ever hit the wall here at home in Nashville. And, you know, we had a good car. We was coming through the field real good. The Kona Oil 107.5 car was just handling superb. And I was on the outside of this guy, and I had him cleared, and I stayed in my lane. And they tell me that he turned up on me. And, you know, I hate the Kona Oil 107.5 cars out. I was coming in the front. We started in the back. And we managed to do everything I said I was going to do. So we're just going to take it home and rebuild it.
Well, he told me he put on an exciting show today. He sure did, but it wasn't the way he really wanted. He wanted to pick up his 8th win of the '97 season.
Just ran out of the racetrack when he and John Curley were racing together there. Here's Darrell Sage, who, once work is complete, is going to be penalized for too fast down pit road.
Well, and he's going to have to be in there. He's another lap down right now. They're working on the front of this car. He has some damage there. I don't know what it could be, but they're working on the car.
63 laps complete. Also, Jerry Underwood, the 03, made a pit stop. He was 9th when he pitted. He's been in 25 cars on the lead lap as work continues on Darrell Sage. These are the all-time winners at Nashville Speedway since 1984. Chad Chaffin tops that list, but look at the Winston Cup and Busch drivers that are among them. Bobby Hamilton, Jeff Green in the Busch Series. Mike Alexander ran Winston Cup.
I think those wins actually, 1984, those come after Mike come back from Winston Cup and come back and did some racing here in Nashville.
Larry, I think you're close, because I remember in 1984, as we get ready to go back to green, Mike Alexander won the Winston Racing Series National Championship on the strength of those wins here at Nashville, and that helped propel him back up to Winston Cup.
Where he went into to the 12 car.
Yep. Exactly. We're both right. I love it. Tony Foremost, remember the guy who sped through that first crash without slowing down? Well, he just sped down pit road, and he's going to get a penalty for that. Back under green, Chad Chaffin has a mirror full of Andy Kirby here.
Kirby was trying to work that outside groove through 3 and 4. Chaffin's car just awfully strong through the corner.
My hero's right there in third right now. I'm going to tell you what, this guy is driving as hard as you can drive a race car. David Littleton is just doing a superb job in that number 2. And one thing about it, you won't lose him on the racetrack either. That's about as bright a paint job as I've seen lately.
Littleton is 27. He's from Columbia, Tennessee, as he has a look at Kirby there on the inside. They call him the Little Chief. He's a construction worker during the week. Races here on weekends, and he's gunning for second spot. Kirby's going to have to let him have some room here.
I tell you what, he don't mind throwing it sideways and stabbing it back, and you'll see right there, great car. I take that back. That race car is working. It looked like it was a little bit sideways, but I think he likes to run them sideways.
Kirby just can't keep his car on the bottom, especially on the exit of the corners, and that's how he just lost that position, and actually how he lost the lead earlier.
There's Littleton, and here's Chad Chaffin. The men chasing him, including 45, the pole sitter, Jerry Coble. Right outside the Winston Racing Series scoreboard in turn 3 here in Nashville. That's where Chad Chaffin's business is located. He's the racetrack's neighbor. Runs an auto parts establishment out there.
They have some junkyard influence right around it, too. They have a pretty good-sized junkyard hooked to that parts store.
Yep, some of those parts are pretty used. And Coble now is closed up on Kirby.
Well, just what you were talking about. You can see Kirby's car. Oh, look at this, Chaffin in trouble.
And he misses the wall, but he has no right rear. Buddy, did the wheel...
I believe he cut a tire. See the cut in the tire right there? I believe he cut a tire down as he come off of turn 2.
Oh, no. That's not going to help that suspension any. He's trying to stay on the lead lap and get back to the pit here with one-wheel drive.
And right now, he's still on the lead lap, but it's going to be awfully hard to stay there. There you see all the sparks. That's doing a lot of damage right now.
Let's talk a little bit about that, though. They have a rail that goes on the backside of these cars. When the tire does go flat, it runs on that rail back there. That's what you see dragging at the moment. See it right here, just behind where the frame comes down there. They have a metal piece that comes down.
Rear end really getting a workout right there, though. That's not good.
You know, it looks like part of that wheel is still attached
he may have
to
broke
the lug
wheel.
nut.
It looks like he broke a wheel.
Here you see he's coming off turn 2, leading the race right there, and it just breaks loose. I believe he cut a tire, or either the wheel broke right there on the exit of the corner.
Can't see the wheel or tire from this angle, but it's there. You can see it's separated. The wheel, or at least the tire, is all separated from the car.
Well, you can see the wheel gone there. It's up under the car there. It's under the right rear corner, so the wheel itself come off. Like you say, it might have went flat, and that broke the wheel off, but it definitely got hung up on
You can still see part of the wheel, I believe, bolted onto the lug studs right there, so he may have very well broke a center of a wheel out.
I think you're right, Larry. Let's find out from Matt. He's there.
Guys, that's what they think the problem is. He may have a bigger problem, though. There's a lot of water leaking from the front of the car. You can see the front valence is punched in a little bit where the radiator would be. It looks like he might have punched a hole in the radiator, but right now they're working on the right rear, trying to get what's left of the wheel off the hub.
Yeah, Matt, there, of course, is the leak. You're on the opposite side of the car, but what they're trying to do is, as he's going around the racetrack, that wide 5 hub is rotating against the ground, and it's bending it all up right where the studs go into the hub. So they're just trying to get enough to get it back on, but it's going to be tough to get him back in the race, and he has now lost at least a lap.
They've got the right rear back on, but they got serious problems at the front of that car.
2 of the 3 pre-race favorites have come to grief today. Joe Buford, the defending champion, and Chad Chaffin leaves number 10, Andy Kirby, in command. A good bit of water loss there, but Chaffin is coming back in the race. We're not sure for how long.
Well, it looks like they're holding him right now at the end of pit road for some reason.
But that problem would not at all be related to what happened at the back end of the car.
No, because I got to thinking, could have the radiator have drug or something, but I don't think that could have happened with the right rear coming off.
Well, these things don't have a regular system on it. You have the electric fan on it, and if you forget when you come in with all that damage, he might have been sitting there without the fan on and it runs hot like that. I'm not sure. It could happen though.
One lap and we'll go back to racing. What, 73 laps complete of 200 here at Nashville Speedway USA, and number 2, David Littleton, in front of Andy Kirby. Looks like that's the way they'll line up for this restart. Littleton is the 3rd leader of the day.
Chad Chaffin lost 2 laps on that instant, Mike, so he's 2 laps down as we're going to go back to racing.
Littleton looking for his first win of the season. Darrell Sage back on pit road, and Nick Formosa coming a lot slower. Rather, Tony Formosa coming back out.
I'm going to tell you, Chaffin's got to come back in. He's still losing a lot of water. I noticed out of the left corner there. I don't know how long it's going to be able to maintain that.
We'll see as we get set for the green. The orange and black number 2 of Littleton. That pumpkin-painted machine gets the green on this restart. Leads Andy Kirby and the 45 of Jerry Coble.
You see Kirby there in 2nd place in the green car. He's got good drive until the tires get a little bit hot, and then he seems to wash out in the center part of the corner. But right on the restart, he seems to be as quick as anybody. I think after he gets to if he makes a pit stop and works on that car a little bit, he's got a fast race car, but it won't stay in the bottom part of the racetrack.
You're right, it will for just a few laps, but then it goes away, as you said, when the tires seem to heat up.
A lot of jostling midfield behind your 3 leaders. I'll make that 4 leaders. John Curley, 44, fought his way up there. They're single file. A lot of action as they sort the field out still from this restart. Still a lot of it double wide.
You know, Mike and Buddy, we talked about the tire here today, and nobody really had any concerns about the tires, but one issue that we hadn't talked about yet, there was a question whether these cars could go 200 laps here at Nashville on fuel or not. Some said they could make it, some said they couldn't. As we see, Chad Chaffin brings his car back on the pit road. But one thing about it, with the caution laps, if you have enough of them, if some of them's close, that will buy them the extra laps they need maybe to make the distance.
Mike, this is a fight in the 2nd right here, and it looks like Coble's got the better of the 2 right there. He's got the better car. It'll stay on the bottom of the racetrack. Kirby's been fighting his condition. You see him washing out in the center part of the corner. It's hurt him a lot.
All right, Coble trying to take over the 2nd spot. As you see, we're continuing on Chapin's car. Side by side into the corner, and Coble will prevail. Let's go to pit road.
Guys, it looks like this could be the end of the day for Chad Chaffin. He says the car has picked up a miss and there's something wrong in the rear end. If you get a look here at my cameraman, Randy Bolin, you can see some of the pieces that are left over from the wheel that came off of Chad Chaffin's car. They think the wheel broke, and that was what started this less than stellar day for Chad Chaffin. Obviously disappointed. Chad, I'll tell you what, buddy, you thought today could be the day. What happened?
Well, everything just kind of went to pot at one time. I could tell that wheel was breaking. We thought about coming in. I didn't know if I was blistering the tire. I just felt the vibration. They said your lap times are good. We probably should have came in. I just said, well, if the lap times are good, you know, maybe it's just my imagination or something. A lot of times you can, you know, get a little vibration car and it'll go away. Something happened to the motor, too. I guess when I spun out, I might have over-revved the motor and broke a rock arm or something. I think we could have made up the 2 laps, but then it wasn't running good, so we just had to call it a day.
Well, actually, they were hoping to come in around lap 80, do a little short pit strategy like last year, but again, like last year, bad luck has bitten Chad Chaffin.
Watching Casey Atwood in 53, the Brooks and Dunn Metal Rodeo Chevy there to the inside of the number 3 of Bo Miller. Been going at it this way since they dropped the green flag for the restart.
That's your basic 17-year-old good race car driver right there. He won 3 events this year and just had a super good year for a 17-year-old.
8th place is what they're battling for here. And for the moment, that's decided in favor of Atwood in 53.
Be a pretty good sponsor too, Brooks and Dunn. I'd say that's up the ladder there for sponsorship for a local race team.
It's about as good as it gets. They say that Kix and Ronnie come out to a lot of the races here, watch them up in the VIP suites. And Casey did happen to win on one night when they were here, so that certainly helps. All right, David Littleton, number 2, looking for his first Nashville victory of the season. Leads this pack. 87 laps of 200 are completed. NASCAR Thunder is the official store of NASCAR. For store locations and information, call 615-883-7000 Monday through Friday. Stores opening this fall: Chattanooga, Phoenix, Mobile, and Richmond, as the roster of NASCAR Thunder stores continues to grow. David Littleton is your race leader, driving that number 2, looking for his first victory of 1997. He's finished 2nd, had a few top 5s, but he's got it in the wind, buddy.
Mike, he's had it his way for a long time, but look at Coble in the 45 there running 2nd. He's actually closed in about 15 car lengths. As you see the 53 there, that's Casey Atwood. He's going at it right now, moving up pretty well at the moment.
He's past that 87, Wade Allen Buttry. And for 6th place, that's where Atwood has the metal rodeo car. That's Buttry right with him, drifting back a little bit. Looks like Casey's going to move away from Buttry and the 18 of Billy James.
Casey's one of those guys that wanted to run today and tomorrow, but he got involved in an accident in the last chance race here and tore his primary car up for the all-pro race that'll be on tomorrow.
Caution flags so far, and a total of 21 laps of caution in this first half of the race. May make some of the thinking a little easier on pit road about whether or not you can run this distance on 1 tank of fuel.
And again, you know, caution laps, you can figure you can probably run about 3 caution laps here for every green flag race, or lap that's run. So, you know, if you're borderline and you can get enough cautions, then you can go the distance.
The other thing that they have in their favor here is these cars are running like a 300 carburetor, so they're not really dumping a lot of fuel into the motor. And anytime you can run half throttle or quarter throttle, you're really saving fuel.
Well, we talked this morning, too, about if you need to stop for gas. Do you stop early for track position, or do you stop late to bolt on tires and hope you can get to the front?
Well, you know, again, I think they've got a good tire here, and if tires are not really an issue, my theory would be get in and get the gas early. That way you can get that track position for later on. Tires
being an issue, meaning that new tires aren't that much faster than worn ones?
Well, my theory is if you're up front, you have the track position. Every wreck back in that pack, when you're way back, if you make an early stop, you have to run through all those wrecks, and sooner or later it's going to get you.
Yeah, they said that this tire, when they would take 100-lap tires off and put fresh tires on it, there was not a big gain on the stopwatch. So, again, I think if we got an issue here, that fuel would be maybe more one than tires would be.
Okay, we're halfway here at Nashville. We're just past 100 of 200 laps. David Littleton continues to lead here, and Jerry Coble, who has 1 win and 7 top 5 finishes. There's Coble in blue and black, the pole sitter, running in 2nd spot. We'll be back with you live at Nashville after this. 108 laps complete here at Nashville out of the 200. The COMDATA 200, and there is number 2, David Littleton, in Halloween orange and black. As he's coming up to lap traffic. Pole sitter Jerry Coble, who won on TNN Motor Madness back in April. He is the second place car in blue and black, just a car length, rather one car back in line. Not having quite as good luck getting through the lap traffic as is Littleton. Can't quite get to him. And that Ryder Transportation and machine number 45.
Littleton's been a little impatient here on lap traffic. He almost bought the farm not long ago coming off turn 4 up there. Got the car completely sideways, taking a line off that corner that he really shouldn't be doing because he has a great car. He needs to really have patience right now.
It's been 35 laps since our last caution, and there you see they're really strung out. He's got a lot of lap traffic to deal with, so he has got to use some patience.
All right, Larry McReynolds, you're on the horn to David Littleton right now. What are you telling him? Oh, you're telling him trouble up in the corner, and caution is out. Two cars in the back straightaway, midpoint and the back stretch are against the fence. One is the 28 of Joe Brantley, and another appears to be the 91 of Mark Cash.
Mike, I talked about this ahead of the show. That turn 2 over there has always been a trouble spot. You come off and you use a lot of racetrack, and cars get together over there for some reason.
Fourth caution of the day comes out at lap 113. Two cars involved. There's Brantley. Out of Kentucky, the West RV Machine Shop. We'll take a break here and scout around for some replays to show you. And we'll be right back with you live here on the Nashville Network after this. Welcome back to Nashville. Mike Joy with Buddy Baker, Larry McReynolds, Matt Yoakum on pit road for TNN today. All of the lead lap cars but one stopped under this caution for fuel and for the 4 tires allowed. Here's why we're under caution. Whoa.
Mark Cash just got loose coming off turn 2 and, you know, basically took Joe Brantley with him. Hits the inside wall pretty hard there with the right rear.
Yeah, Brantley was the inside car as they come off the corner and got together. Now, watch that orange car. That's your leader trying to get through this. Drive it, buddy.
Well, he's coming off the corner, and he's backing the throttle full, and he does not see up there. You see the car checking up the 52 there. Kind of checks up, he gets in the back. But, hey, if you never hit anybody any harder than that, you got a long career ahead of yourself.
No damage, you see, on David Littleton's car after getting just touching Dwayne Hudson there.
Yeah, with Dwayne Hudson.
Now, the one car that did not stop, Adam Petty.
He says he don't have any problem. He said he can go all the way today. We talked to him before the race. You know, when we walked down there today, we talked to him, and he said, I don't have any problem with fuel. I'm going to make it all the way without stopping.
You know, the 4 on that car looks familiar. Just the way it's shaped and the way the shadow goes back to the left. Lee Petty, his great-grandfather, made that famous with a 2 next to it. His grandfather, Richard Petty, put a 3 next to it, made it even more famous. And his dad, Kyle, has run race cars with 42, 43, and 44 on the side.
The color of that 4 kind of looks familiar, too, don't it, buddy?
Yeah, he said last time he was up here, he had a black car. He said, I didn't want to take a chance. He got hit going from somebody coming out of the pits. He painted it white.
White car with Petty blue numbers.
Look inside. That's a very famous interior there. Every car that Petty's have ever built has that color in it.
Go next time by.
Most of his granddad's car is white. Great-granddad's car?
Not inside.
Lee Petty?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, he had the white with the number.
Don't worry about the guys behind you, Adam. Just focus on your line.
Listening in on
where
Adam
you've been
Petty.
Running. Get a good
we get ready for the restart. Adam Petty, the leader, and then the cars that pitted. Andy Kirby is second. David Littleton is third. The pole sitter is fourth. That's Jerry Coble, 45. 09 is Ricky Bolden in fifth. Matt, update on pit stops. We'll get back with Matt in a moment here as we get ready for this restart.
All of these cars basically took on enough fuel to get to the end and 2 right side tires. Of the cars that did pit, Andy Kirby did win the battle off pit road, and now he's in second place behind Adam Petty.
Kind of neat to see a 4th generation driver leading anything, and here he comes down for the green flag.
I think you can decide what call this one, buddy.
So Petty leads at Nashville.
Again.
Green flag back out. 17 cars are on the lead lap. And it's Petty and the green car of Kirby, the back straightaway.
On your line.
saw Adam doing some interviews yesterday, and when he smiles that smile, he looks just like his granddad.
He does. He looks a lot like Richard in stature, too. He's very tall, very thin, and if he can drive like his grandfather, I'm going to tell you something, he's going to make some people mighty miserable.
After this restart, a lot of lap traffic having to deal with. Kirby trying to get around the 84 car of Cecil Chun, who is a lap or two down.
You have David Littleton there in the orange car that Mike was talking about, the number 2. This car is able to do about anything he wants it to do. As you see him closing in there, Kirby's still working the high side of the racetrack. It seems right now that Littleton can do anything he wants to do with this car.
You know, buddy, I know you know this from experience, but when you change just 2 tires with...
Oh, hard hit. Coming off turn 4. Very hard.
Greg Wilson.
Sorry, low.
He just put the window net down and gave the safety workers a wave. He hit the wall a couple of tons worth.
A lot of damage.
2 or 3 times worth a ton. I'm telling you. Wow.
Wow. Guess we don't have to tell you we're under caution. 5th one of the day here at lap 122 for Craig Wilson. Wow. We'll be right back to Nashville after this. Winnebago, the official motorhome of TNN. Stop by your local Winnebago or Itasca dealer and see the new models. For more information on Winnebago Motorsport, call 800-643-4892, extension 2. Featherlight, the official trailers of NASCAR, CART, the IRL, and major sponsor of NHRA. Call Featherlight for all your trailer needs at 800-800-1230 or 319-547-6000. Commercial transportation for this telecast provided by Ryder, the official transportation company of Opryland. Craig Wilson is okay. Right after the incident, he climbed out, kind of gave a rub to his head, walked around, looked at the damage to the right front, and then I don't think he felt good at all.
No, he not only did he take a hard shot, he knows that race car's got a lot of damage to it. They're trying to just get it away from the wall there, I guess, where they can actually get it hooked up with the wrecker.
Yeah, that's one of those that everybody says he did a nice job of holding it up against the wall. You couldn't have put a stick of dynamite on the right door and blew it off that wall. Once he got in there, you can see the tire got right against the wall. That's why he stayed in there.
All right, let's see it. Watch that black car.
He was up awfully high right there in the middle of the corner, wasn't he, buddy?
Yeah, he's crashed there. He's just waiting on it to happen. Now, you see it turn that way, he corrects and right into the outside wall. Now, watch it. It makes another run at the wall. It comes off a little bit there, and it jumps back up. It makes about 3 good hard licks. Now, watch it. It comes right back up against the wall and settles down.
It basically knocked the rear end out from underneath the car that first lick.
Yep.
Flagman.
Hard lick there, but he basically, like you said, he was wrecked way back in 3 and 4.
Yeah,
he just didn't hit till he got to turn 4.
What'd you say, been a bad day for the 3-digit cars?
Yeah, I mean, Joe Buford had pretty much the same thing happen, pretty close to the same place on the racetrack, and now the 104 car, Craig Wilson, has the same results.
So 104 and 107, number of 3-digit
Mike,
cars.
that's a good, you see the junk on the outside of the racetrack there, all the rubber buildup out there. Once you get high, you can see it there on the right-hand side. That's rubber buildup. It's just all over the racetrack. Once you get in that, you're done.
That's the marbles. And
yeah.
It's like driving on marbles. You just can't, there's no control up there, folks.
Even though the racetrack is about 4 lanes wide, you don't want to be much higher than about the 2nd lane.
Ouch. There is what is left of Craig Wilson's right side. Fifth caution flag of the day, and we'll take a quick break and be right back for the restart.
October 25th on TNN Motorsports.
Second place is the first loser.
It's crunch time. The season's about gone.
Buckle up.
And these guys are going out with a bang.
It's gonna be furious.
Live from the Rock.
It's the best racing in the world.
It's the Busch Grand National AC Delco 200. Saturday, October 25th, 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific on TNN Motorsports.
No speed limits.
Get into it.
Tomorrow morning on TNN, check out NASCAR Garage, the technical side of racing with a behind-the-scenes look at people and cars of NASCAR. Tune in tomorrow. It's a special time, 9 a.m. Eastern, NASCAR Garage here on TNN Motorsports. 18 cars are on the lead lap, was 16, but had a little scoring shake-up. We got that squared away with the scores on those other two vehicles, and we have 18 cars to fight for the win. Adam Petty will lead them off turn number 4. Back to the green flag.
Wow, he got a terrible start there. A couple of the lap cars got ahead of him as he heads down in turn 1. Now he's got to work very hard and hope that he does not get on the outside going in the corner of one of these lap cars.
But it didn't look like he minded letting the lap cars go, because as soon as he could, he just chopped straight down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Anytime I start up on the front there, I try to get the jump and get that track position. I never let people get ahead of me if I could help it. They did sometimes, but it wasn't because I let them go.
Every car that you let by you there, you're going to have to fight to get by later on in the race.
Let Cecil Chun back on the lead lap just ahead of these cars. Chun's number 84. Well, that's the same team Mike Alexander won that championship for. The same paint job at least. And Chun is helping out with the Race for Diabetes, part of the Mark Colley Celebrity Race for Diabetes. And he works with the Sugar Babies groups of diabetic kids and helps out with the fundraising as well.
Mike, they do a lot of good work for people with diabetes. It's a thing that you and I feel very strongly about. And anybody out there that can help the Diabetes Foundation do it.
Here's your lead battle, buddy. Littleton has caught Petty.
Well, Littleton is just an absolute rocket today. He come to win this race. I don't know whether he will or not, but I think he has the fastest car on the speedway without a doubt.
Well, don't tell that to the car behind them. 45, Jerry Coble, the pole sitter, has now cleared lap traffic, and he's cleared Andy Kirby.
Oh, Adam, you got company down on the inside of you.
One Adam 12. We have an intruder here on your left rear.
Yeah, and he's a fast intruder, and he will nudge.
Littleton, that last time through turn 4, give him a little tap in the left rear just to let him know that he was there.
Well, he's looking in the mirror, and just behind him you can see Coble there in the 45. He's coming on strong.
Run your line. 2 car inside. Inside.
You heard the spotter telling him, hold your line, but the 2 car was on the inside of him.
You see what a great forward bite the 2 car had off the corner there. He just drove right up, and that shouldn't happen. That wasn't a preferred line that low on the racetrack. He just has a great car that accelerates well off the corner.
So Petty will follow Littleton around here.
And I would say Littleton could give him a pretty good schooling on how to get around here, what we've seen these first 130 laps.
I'd say Adam's got some serious problems behind him there. Oh, we had a car, the 28 car was going up towards the wall again there, Joe Brantley.
Right rear wheel trouble on Brantley's car as well. He's way up in the marbles there. Now his car was damaged in the earlier incident. Brantley was involved in a crash back at lap 113 with Mark Cash. Second place, and pole sitter Jerry Coble in 45 in that ComCheck Rider transportation machine going back to the front.
Mike Adams getting a lesson right now. These drivers, they run weekly up here, but they're professional racers, and believe me, he's learning a lot right now, and that's exactly what he's doing here and doing a good job.
All right, one thing we forgot, guys, these guys that's going by him right now, they got fresh tires. And Adam Petty, so we can't say this is inexperience totally on Adam's part. It could be just the fresher tires is doing a better job here right now.
He had a shot there at Joe Brantley, who has come to pit road at West Kentucky Machine Shop Chevy. After the incident in turn 1, no caution. Now 44, John Curley from his night, North Carolina, coming up to challenge. And
run your line, man on the inside.
Battle for 4th right
here. Inside.
You can see Curly's car very, very low on the racetrack there. With the 87, just that's Wade Butterly there underneath, and he's coming by. But now, you got to remember something about Petty, too. He was running 17th and got track position by not stopping. So when he gets back to 17, I'll judge whether tires are anything to talk about or not.
And Petty is the only, as Larry pointed out, the only car in the lead lap that has not stopped for tires.
On your line.
141 of 200 laps complete, 59 to go. Curly on the outside. Second generation driver, John Curly.
Working around the lap car of Cecil Chun there, the 84 car. There you see the 10 car, Andy Kirby moving up. Watching him them last few laps, he was real loose up off the corner.
Let's go to Adam Petty's pit. Here's Matt.
Mike, on the previous restart, officials warned Adam Petty, you got a little too good of a start, so watch yourself this time around. He watched himself a little too much and got a little bit of a bottleneck going down into turn 1. He told me this morning, he goes, I'm going to follow my grandfather the King strategy. He won here 9 times. He said, just get out there and watch yourself. Don't worry about anybody else. Long miles. And that's what he's doing today. This car was completely rebuilt after a crash a few weeks ago at Myrtle Beach. And he says that we think that we're not going to stop today. The way it looks now, we can probably go the distance. And our car is handling pretty well. You've got a lot of guys like Coble and Kirby who run here weekly. They know this place like the back of their hand. I'm just coming in here trying to gain experience for next season, which he hopes will be in the ASA series with his teammate, Dave Sensabaugh.
Ambitious plans. Young Adam Petty.
Well, that's Kirby just behind him in the 10, and just behind him, Casey Atwood, one of the better drivers on the Speedway in the 53 there, the black car. This kid's only 17 years old, already won 3 times, as I said earlier. This guy knows this racetrack. Don't count him out yet.
Buddy, you and I was talking to Casey this morning, and I don't know, he made me feel pretty old.
I tell you what, he made me want to sit down a while and rest up. I mean, he looks like he's about 12 years old.
Now, Casey got hemmed in the pits in that 53, had to back up and then hit a tire exiting it. Here's Andy Kirby a couple laps ago.
See,
whoa!
Went up and tagged the outside wall there again. He was up in that loose stuff, and that just don't work.
Now he's looking under Adam Petty. Andy Kirby, 3-time and new track champion, looking low.
Boy, I tell you what, Andy Kirby showed a lot of seasoning racing there. He could have slipped up into Petty and used him as a buffer, but he stayed off of him and did everything he could do not to create a problem.
Casey Atwood, there he moves to the inside. He was trying to make it 3 wide down the front stretch a while ago and decided he needed to back out a little early to do that.
So now it's Atwood and Petty battling for position. And Casey has that preferred line on the inside. That's been the one that's worked all day. And it works again as Petty climbs the hill.
Well, as you call it climbing the hill, that's where you really get going on this racetrack. That's the key part of this racetrack is getting off turn 2. And right there, getting off turn 4. The rest of the racetrack is pretty easy to drive. But it's tough because, as you say, you come up the hill, and then it kind of unloads out towards the outside wall, and that's where you see the car's fishtail.
Words from Professor Baker of the Buck Baker Driving School. As you have a look at David Littleton, who's leading, trying to run this thing to conclusion. We'll see when we come back.
October 28th, he was the king of stock car racing.
It didn't make any difference. We was going to win the race, and they was looking for second place.
He was number 43. The Life and Times of Richard Petty, October 28th, 8 Eastern on TNN.
The 3rd annual NASCAR Family Cruise is headed out on the Norwegian Cruise Line ship, the Leeward, for Cozumel and Key West. For reservations information, 888-491-4950. It's a free call. It heads out December 8th through the 12th. You'll want to be on board. David Littleton has almost a 3-second lead on Jerry Coble in 45.
Mike, he has a problem. You see him going by lap traffic right now, and the guy was giving him the arm signal. There's no turn signals on a race car, so that's how you let people know which side you want them to go by. He's giving the outside lane there. Littleton has to be very careful because he's got a great race car. He does not want to make a mistake that will cost him the race.
Littleton has not won this year. 3 top 5 finishes, including a second and a third. 7 top 10s, finished up 10th in the point standings. And here's Kirby getting worked over, or rather worked underneath, by Casey Atwood. This is 5th place.
Casey Atwood in the 53 just keeps on gnawing on this position here. He's trying to get by Kirby every time they go down in the corner. You see, he'll pull up even, and Kirby will get a better run down the back straightaway, pull out almost a car length. Now, when they get back in the corner, Atwood will come right back up on him.
There's your leaderboard. Wade Allen Buttrey has moved up to 3rd. John Curley to 4th. This is the race for 5th place. Kirby and Atwood. Adam Petty is 7th. Dean Howard in 8th. Toby Robertson, who cut his teeth at Hickory Speedway, is 9th. And Sanford, that's Ricky Sanford, the 42, in 10th.
You know, you see Kirby run the high line there, and I talked to some of the guys this morning. These motors, they only make like in the high 300s of horsepower, and a lot of times running that second groove, that'll keep your RPMs up a little bit better and let you run faster down the straightaway. Just keep the engine wound up, not bound up.
Well, that's where Kirby has been all day. He's up in that top groove. Interesting, though, that on this short track, all the passing seems to be done to the inside.
That's a good reason for that, Mike. 8 tires corner better than 4. You don't want to have a problem on the outside here.
Well, the interval first to second is shrinking.
1 in steady, clear.
David Littleton losing some ground to second place Jerry Coble. There's Littleton, your leader. Get into the countdown laps here, and there's Coble.
Inside, clear.
Traffic is the reason.
Clear.
Littleton is not having an easy time with the traffic. And there is Coble in 45. He's got it knocked down in just about 2 seconds.
But all the traffic that Littleton had to deal with and he's done with, now Coble's got to deal with it.
The one thing you do have an advantage running second. A lot of guys would on purpose run second for a long time because the leader goes up. They don't know he's there. All of a sudden they see the flagman. Okay, the leader goes by and they're looking for the second place car, so they're kind of looking for you to come up, and it can really change things. That's how you get through traffic.
Well, and a lot of times, you know, the lap traffic will run the leader harder because they're trying to keep from going another lap down. Once he's passed them, then there's no need to fight the second place guy because it's not going to gain you anything.
Good point. This battle for 5th, you're listening to Andy Kirby's radio as he battles Casey Atwood. 5th and 6th place. Kirby started outside pole.
Inside.
Casey Atwood, 3 wins, 10 top 5.
Clear.
You know, I was looking at Kirby's car there. He hit the wall not long ago because the back end of the car got very, very loose getting out of the corner and smacked into the wall, but it does not look like it did any damage around the wheel area, so I think he's okay. Good to go there.
I've worked on some race cars where when you hit the wall, it actually worked better after you hit it.
Then you're working for the right man, I'll tell you that.
30 laps to go here in Nashville. Larry McReynolds, after a long run with Robert Yates Racing, and now the crew chief for Dale Earnhardt and Richard Childress.
Kirby getting real loose off the corner right now.
Clear.
I raced against his father years and years ago, and he was in the last chance race a while ago. His brother, or father, Benny Curley, I think it was, that I raced against, and he was in the last chance race a while ago, and I went, wow.
Clear, clear.
And then I went, nah.
After Benny hit the wall, you had a different thought. Now there's 44 is John Curley.
That's 3rd, 4th, and 5th place right there. Good battle with about 28 laps to go.
Yep, the 87 at Buttrey. That is the 3rd place car.
You can put a blanket over this 4 spots right here. You can see them fighting it out. Casey Atwood still trying that bottom side on Kirby, but can't get her made.
Oh, Buttrey may lose 3rd place right here. Here comes Curley on the inside. Buttrey, 5 top 5 finishes.
Whoa! Right in the back of a lap traffic car there.
3 wide.
Squeeze play down into turn 1.
Somebody's got to give. Whoa! Curley gets loose.
No, he's still trying.
He's still gathering it up.
Go. 2 wide. You're okay. Go inside.
And here comes Atwood on the bottom. Atwood, because Kirby had to check up. Casey Atwood went to the bottom and takes the spot.
Yes, indeed. Traffic always makes a big difference in a race. But you see Kirby fighting back on the inside, trying to get under Atwood there.
Third and fourth.
Here comes Kirby again, giving him a little nudge, a little more than a nudge there. Wow.
That wasn't a nudge. That was a slap.
He's coming back.
I thought he was going to get one back. And here comes Atwood on the bottom again in 53.
Atwood says, I hope about 4 or 5 more people run into each other. I'll be leading this thing.
I think you're right.
Wade Butcher really losing some spots here.
Outside is for position. Outside.
Yep, Kirby's got
Clear.
Here comes Atwood going after Curley, whose car is really sliding around now.
He's turning right to go left right now. He's having a real hard time in the 44 there. You can see on the outside, the back end of the car is very, very hard to maintain. But look at this lap traffic. I'm telling you what, this is exciting racing, short track racing at its best.
And you can't move the lap car. That's 26 Russell Winstead. He's down on the bottom where he's supposed to be.
He has a right to be out there just like the people running hard right now. He's doing his best. There's a reason for that car running off the pace. It's probably not handling well. He got down where he could get out of the way. Hey, it's not his problem.
That's all he can do.
10 cars are on the lead lap as Casey Atwood fights John Curley for third place here. Your leader, David Littleton. Pole sitter Jerry Coble is second. This is the fight for third.
Mike, I talked to Casey Atwood in Lent the other day, and I said, what do you want to do with your racing career? He says, I need to make it in racing because it's the only thing I love.
There's Atwood in 53, right behind Curley, and just ahead of Andy Kirby.
Inside.
He may have a shot at the bottom here. Clear.
Got some fairly clear racetrack ahead of him. Got a couple of cars, maybe about a half a straightaway ahead of him, but not near the traffic they had to deal with a while ago.
Inside of 20 laps to go here at Nashville. Tomorrow, the Mannheim Auctions All-American 400 here on TNN.
David Littleton, he's kind of holding on to a little over a 2-second lead over Jerry Coble, so just needs to watch his laps wind down and not get in trouble with lap traffic.
All right, let's go to the pits of the third place car, Matt.
Mike, the last time TNN Motorsports televised a late model race here at the Nashville Speedway, this 44 car was nearly destroyed in an accident. John Curley has pieced it back together, and today he enlisted the help of Vic Irvin, Ernie Irvin's dad, who helped Ernie in his earlier years in the late models. He's helping him here today and got this car up into the top 3. They thought they had a shot at the pole, but he got a little loose on his second lap. They are expecting a good run today. As you can tell, he's already third. Also, let's give a call to 19-year-old Walt Neighbors in the 8 car. He's maybe 4 laps down. He was involved in an earlier accident. He goes to the University of Tennessee. He's a freshman. His parents live in Memphis on the other side of the state. They tow the car to Nashville. He drives from Knoxville to Nashville. They kind of meet in the middle of the state, so to speak. They had a good run this year, 2 11th place finishes. They're hoping to get a sponsor to run the entire season next year.
Good hot pitched battle here for third place. Casey Atwood has taken it away there from the 44. And for Andy Kirby. Now Darrell Sage there, the 21 is 2 laps down. Spent some time in the pits. I don't think this pack is catching the race leaders.
I think you can see why Curley is not able to maintain his spot. He is up in the third. He started slipping coming off the corner. Our leader is doing everything he needs to do, though, as we look at him here. Littleton is doing great.
That's number 2, the George Clanton Construction Chevrolet, and there's the second place car, 45. That's Jerry Coble, the COMDATA Chevrolet. Ronnie Smith, the crew chief for Coble. Tommy Littleton is crew chief for David. And there's the interval back. And then to the third place battle. And the rest of the field. David Littleton has won 1 race here at Nashville, the Winston 200, July of 1995. He was the Speedway's Rookie of the Year in 1993.
Larry, you look at this car and you say he ought to won every race he's ever been here, but you know, sometimes you hit it right and sometimes you don't. That's the people who do win 7 or 8 times a year. They have to have people that are really tuned in. Right now, this car looks unbeatable, though. He's just all day long has been the fastest car.
Oh, but Buddy, you remember how loose that car was at the start of the race?
Yeah, and now the racetrack come to him. You can tell right now, a lot of times he can probably understand the car would tighten up. Maybe had a little push in the car at first, and now it's worked its way around and the track's come to him.
Sometimes that's the key to having a good car at the end of a 200-lap run, is it's not so good the first 10 or 15 laps, because a lot of times cars will start pushing, so you got to be loose at the beginning of a run.
Battle for 6th place, Adam Petty, 49, inside of 87, Wade Allen Buttry.
Great run by Adam Petty today in the 49 car. 6th place is not anything to sneeze at. These guys go at it here, and you can see he's still got his car handling quite well. Didn't change tires, still maintains 6th spot. That's great.
Got to be a good confidence booster for him.
It was a good strategy. Might not have been a winning one today, but it was a good one and a strong run for Petty, who inherited the lead when everybody on the lead lap pitted for tires, but he's given a good account of himself. Here he's fighting back, trying to take 6th place away from Buttry in the closing lap.
Well, you know, it was good strategy. He's fighting for 6th. Yeah, he was running 13th, 14th. He could have come in and pitted just like everybody else and maybe finished 13th or 14th. They gambled a little bit, and here he's battling for 6th near the end.
Adam led 20 laps today. You notice, yeah, he's not backing up.
No, not at all. He's doing a great job.
Now that those fresh tires have worn a bit on those cars that stopped, he's coming back toward the front.
Mikey spec tires are real hard, and as far as them getting off a whole bunch, I think right now you're looking at cars that are tuned up well and handling well. It looks to me that Petty has the faster car, but he can't get the inside groove and get back in the throttle where he needs to.
5 laps to go for leader David Littleton. As we watch this battle for 6th place, Petty is there.
He's drawing side by side down the back straightaway.
Lap traffic ahead. Petty on the bottom. He's going to have to squeeze Buttry up to make the pass.
And does.
Nifty move.
I tell you, the apple didn't fall far from the tree there. You can tell. He's really driving that race car very well.
4 laps to go as you ride with David Littleton here, looking for his 2nd career victory at the Nashville Speedway.
He has about 3 or 4 cars in front of him, lap traffic. Just got a good lead, though. Just needs to be patient and just basically take these guys as he gets to them.
And once again, Casey Atwood has Andy Kirby.
Whoa, Kirby. He's fighting that car, but I tell you what, he didn't lift. He just drove her right on through. Great bias ply tire move. If that had been a radial, he'd have been gone.
He has drove the wheels off that car today.
2 to go for Littleton. And it's possible Jerry Coble, the 2nd place car, may have a tire going down. Clear. Word on the radio. Now here's Atwood under pressure from Kirby.
Boy, I tell you right now, they're going down the back straightaway, and Kirby is flying up off that corner.
White flag for Littleton. He's on the last lap. Atwood and Kirby continue to battle for 3rd. They still have a lap to go. Atwood back straightaway, or rather heading for turn 3 is Littleton. And David Littleton comes off turn number 4, picks up his 2nd career Nashville Speedway victory. Battle coming off the corner is Atwood holding off Kirby for 3rd place. Good job. Behind Jerry Coble.
Well, he's got a wing on that too, and I know why. He put it to work today.
David Littleton, the George Clanton Construction Chevrolet, is the COMDATA Overdrive 200 winner. We'll meet him in victory lane right after this. Littleton holds off Jerry Coble and Casey Atwood at Nashville. Today's race had 4 different leaders. David Littleton led twice for 110 laps, and he led the last one. Matt Yoakum's in victory lane.
David Littleton getting a hug from little Laura Beth, his daughter. David, it's been a long time since July 1995. Congratulations.
Thank you. I started new at this team first of the year. Couldn't ask for a better man to work for, the cars. They were sort of bad there at the start, but, you know, he stuck with us. We stuck with him. We got all our ducks in a row, I guess you'd say, and we wound up here at this 200 today, and we knew we was going to be a pretty dominant car, if not the best.
It seemed like the track kind of came to you a little later on.
Yes, sir. We started off, car was just a little tight on our scuffed tires, and as the sun heated up the corners a little bit and the tires got more wear on them, the car got just a tick faster for me.
Well, he's got a brand new Gibson guitar, and he's the winner of the COMDATA 200.
Oh, man.
Looks like he'll need some lessons. Coming up Friday night on TNN Motor Madness, can you say Sippy Hole?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I knew you could.
You gotta watch the snakes in the Sippy Hole, too, boy.
Well,
they turn those Jeeps upside down and the snakes come out.
You gotta watch the final Swamp Buggy Classic of the season live from Naples, Florida on Motor Madness, Friday night at 8 p.m. here on TNN. Hey, we'll be right back with more of the stories here from Nashville and preview tomorrow's All-American 400 after this.
October 26th on TNN Motorsports. It's Winston Cup racing on the jagged edge at the track known as the Rock.
It's a tough place to race.
Time is running out on the 1997 points chase, and nobody wants a rock-bottom finish.
It's either checkers or wreckers.
You don't want to miss the AC Delco 400. Live Sunday, October 26th at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific.
And it's right here on TNN Motorsports.
If you've got a Sony PlayStation or Sega Saturn, check out TNN Motorsports Hardcore 4x4. You'll see fenders crunching, wheels busting, and doors flying off, and that's just on the way to the store. Now pick it up now and have some fun. Scrape the mud off your TV. For more information, check it out at www.country.com. Margin of victory, 4.8 seconds, and Coble did everything but win it. Matt?
Jerry Coble, the pole sitter, you almost picked up another one. If you had a late caution, could you have gotten around him?
I don't know. It'd been tight. We'd raced him hard for it. The rear stagger closed up on the car and it got pushing up off the turn. I mean, I ain't taking nothing away from David because he drove a great race and he deserved to win, but I'd like to have a late caution flag to race him for it.
Still a great way to end the season. What was it, 1995? You had 12 second places?
Yeah, 95. We had 12 seconds. Which here we ended the season up with 2 seconds and a win, so we can't do too bad. Can't complain to us.
Well, he had a great run today. Mike Joy?
Jerry Coble, pole sitter and runner-up here today. We'll be back with more from the Nashville Speedway right after this word. David Littleton's winning machine rolled out of victory lane and off toward the inspection area. That's the George Clanton Construction Chevrolet. Coming up next this week in country music, but first we're going to meet our third place finisher this afternoon, and he had to come from the back to do it. Matt?
Boy, a great one today. A great run today for Casey Atwood. You think you'd had a chance or you could have gotten close to him?
Well, I really didn't ever get close to him till the end. You know, I started 20th, had a bad qualifying run. Got up to 5th and had to pit and got back to 9th. And it seemed like we was passing cars all day and never could get up there. But it's a good run after the qualifying run we had.
Well, a good run for that 17-year-old. Also a good run for Adam Petty. Good top 6 for you.
Yeah, we ended up not pitting. We decided, I guess we had the biggest guts out of everybody. We decided we could stay out and run the whole race. But evidently we weren't strong enough to win it or finish in top 5. But 6 is good from starting 25th, I guess.
Well, the strategy your grandfather gave you about running Nashville paid off.
I reckon so. I wish he was here to see it, but you know, they're off doing bigger and better things. Maybe they're fixing up something for me to drive or someday. But you know, I appreciate everybody's help. I thank Manheim Auctions for coming on board this weekend, and NWO, and it's my mom and dad for doing everything they do for me. So thank the good Lord I'm safe.
Well, 9 wins for the King, and hopefully someday Adam Petty will put his name in the record books here at Nashville.
Well, it's a much better day than he had the last time he was here when he got in a wreck with a car coming off a pit road, or in the Mark Colley Celebrity Race, which you're going to see later this month on TNN. You'll see Brooks and Dunn, and you'll see the Generation Gap race, perhaps, with the Pettys, the Hamiltons, and the Marlins. And Adam, well, didn't have the best of luck in that one either.
Look at Casey Atwood's car. He ran up front all day. Not one scratch on that race car. Great job.
Let's give you the rundown. Littleton, the leader, or the winner. Coble in second. Casey Atwood third. Andy Kirby, the track champ, finished fourth. Curley fifth. Adam Petty sixth. Buttrey seventh. Howard, Sanford, and Murray were the top 10 today. Look at all those Chevys in the top 10. The Fords didn't fare very well. Then back in 11th, it was Billy James. In 12th, Jason Oates. And there's a look at the rest of your top 20. Very pretty fair show.
Well, it was, you know, maybe not for the lead at the end, but 3rd through 7th, it's like you didn't know till they come off the last corner of the last lap. And, you know, you got to give a call to Joe Buford and Chad Chaffin, who had some really good race cars today, but it just wasn't their day to go to victory lane.
Not today.
I tell you what, you think this was something? Join us tomorrow. I'll guarantee you'll see things you have never seen before.
Tomorrow, 1 o'clock on TNN, the North Carolina Sweet Potato 400 for the ASA drivers. Tomorrow at 5:30 Eastern, 300-mile-per-hour excitement on the quarter mile, NHRA Revell Nationals. And Buddy, Larry, and I'll be right back here tomorrow for some great racing action in the Mannheim Auctions All-American 400. It'll air tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern, right here on TNN Motorsports. David Littleton, great job. Congratulations from all of us here at the Nashville Network.
The Nashville Network is a service of CBS Cable.